Poverty. Roughly 9.2% of the world's population are living in poverty. 689 million people live in extreme poverty on a $1.9 or less a day. This is according to the World Bank. Poverty is a denial of choices and opportunities, a violation of human dignity. It means lack of basic capacity to participate effectively in society. It means not having enough to feed and clothe a family, not having a school or clinic to go to, not having the land on which to grow one's food or a job to earn one's living, not having access to credit. It means insecurity, powerlessness and exclusion of individuals, households, and communities. It means susceptibility to violence, and it often implies living on marginal or fragile environments without access to clean water or sanitation. Proportion of poor Filipinos was estimated to be 16.6% in the year 2018. Poverty incidence among population, or the proportion of poor Filipinos whose per capita income is not sufficient to meet their basic food and non-food needs, was estimated at 16.6%. This translates to 17.6 million.
In the Philippines, globalization appears to harm the poor at low levels. But over a certain threshold, it appears to improve poverty, possibly because it provides renewed incentive for reform. As a result, globalization may have harmed the poor not because it went too far, but because it did not go far enough. Recent studies shows that globalization only makes poor people poorer and rich people richer. This is because of the global divide experienced between developed countries and emerging countries. Poverty is related to the global divide. Having poverty is unfair, unethical, and dangerous. The Philippines should abolish poverty because its people deserve to be free of it. Poverty in the Philippines is one of the most serious problems that the government must deal with. In relation to its nature, poverty in the Philippines arises from the rapid population growth in the country. The effects of it are very visible in nature. Poverty causes many Filipinos to not pursue their education.
Economic growth is the primary means by which globalization can affect poverty. Researchers have discovered that when countries open up to commerce, they tend to expand faster and have higher living standards. The common notion is that the advantages of stronger growth will trickle down to the poor. Evidence suggests that globalization has a positive effect on a country's economic growth and employment. In particular, trade openness and foreign portfolio flows have contributed to higher per capita GDP growth in the Philippines.
In conclusion, poverty affects a lot of Filipinos. Globalization has its pros and cons when it comes to dealing with poverty. Evidently, poverty rates are slowly reducing through the efforts of public and private sectors. We believe that every Filipino should not live in poverty and should experience life to the fullest.